Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tisha Talks. I am so excited to have a guest on our show today, Mrs. Ciara S. Miller. For those of you who are new to the page, Tisha Talks is a platform where we encourage, inspire, and empower women to live their best lives. And I'm so excited about Ciara being a part of this conversation today because she is doing just that. She is also known as the Purpose Influencer. She is the founder of Providement, and she has so many other projects going on, as well as her book, which I'm sure you guys can see, Don't Muzzle Your Message. And so I'm excited. Thank you, Ciara, for being a part of this conversation today.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
So for some people who may not know who you are, I want to give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself and to introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. So I am Ciara S. Miller, the Purpose Influencer, and I especially love helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs unmuzzle their message so that they can transform their audience, sales, and lifestyle.
Wow. Wow. That is an awesome purpose to be running after. And so tell us a little bit more about this book that you have displayed before us today, Don't Muzzle Your Message.
Yes, so Don't Muzzle Your Message, 5 Ways to Boost Your Boldness to Speak, actually was born while doing what they would call, I can't think of the actual term right now, I don't know why it's slipping my mind, but pretty much when you have a group of a program that you're testing, a beta tester.
Yes, yes.
So it was a beta tester course, and was sending them questions through like Google Docs, and they would have to answer, and when we came to class, they would discuss it. And then eventually I was like, I think I want to upgrade their experience. I would love for them to have a book that is going alongside this program, the Novice No Speaker Intensive. And so I decided to take the time to add more to not just the reflection questions that they were getting, because that's also in the book. So I sat with a friend of mine that's a writer's coach, and she kind of helped me with, kind of dump how I wanted to structure it. So it's a workbook form. It has those questions, of course. It opens up with me telling a little bit about myself, whether like chapter 3 is speak up. And so we start there, and I'm talking about different scenarios of where I spoke up. Then it goes into the reflection questions, and then I'll tell a little story about maybe one of my clients who spoke up or were challenged to speak up. So, and then the last part, it has like a journal section where you can actually write. Because sometimes you just want to write on your mind.
Right.
So it's broken like that, and each of the 5 chapters is broken up that way.
So it's cool. It's very interactive.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So it's also kind of like coaching you along, helping you develop that skill. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes, I wanted to give them a taste of what it would be like if they decided to collaborate with me. And so they would do the pre-work. That's what I was calling it before the book existed. They would do the pre-work. They would show up to class, and then we would do it and act it out. So even if they read the book, went through the book, and decided to participate, they were already halfway done. So.
Right. So tell us a little bit more about your purpose journey, right? What kind of things have transpired in your life to lead you to where you are today?
Right. So when I first started and began to brainstorm about Providement, I was on a college campus. I was actually a transfer student, and I was in a class, my business professional communication class. Can never forget, because it kind of like altered everything for me. Originally, I wanted to be a counselor, and so some of my clients kind of get that therapy feel for me, because I guess that's still a passion of mine. I believe in wellness and just taking care of yourself. But then while I was sitting in that class, he told us to create a business based upon something that either existed that you wanted to improve, or just creating something that did not exist but you felt the world needed. So I took the route of revamping something that existed but finding what was missing. And so during that, I started Providement. That was a project in that class. And then I was just like, this just can't just stay a project. It has to become real. And so when it started, it was actually career coaching, because I was in the career setting, I was on campus, And I was kind of getting used to like finding people's places. And then later I found out that it was larger than that it was actually purpose, because I actually found on my own personal discovery journey that even though I was in, I knew my major, I was a psych major, I knew what I kind of wanted to do, there was still something missing. And so from discovering that purpose was where I wanted to work, I began to niche even further while writing this book. It showed me more of what I was passionate about and what I truly specialize in, with helping people. And so I knew that it would be through the unmuzzling of their message that they would then pull out their purpose on a level that they never even experienced. Because it's so funny, but a lot of people can say, hey, you have a problem, you have an issue, you're struggling with speaking, they'll raise their hands quicker than if you say, hey, do you not know your purpose? They may tell you if you're by yourself in the corner somewhere, right. But other than that, they're not quick to admit that. But they will say, yes, I need help speaking. And so I'm just thankful to God that I can use this avenue of unmuzzling your message to also pull out their purpose and cause them to pursue it to a whole nother level.
So let me ask you, how would you define purpose? Because I know you were talking about doing the career coaching, and like, so sometimes people are walking in a career, but it's not necessarily their purpose. Or would you agree with that statement?
It depends, really. I think it would vary whether or not it's their purpose in their career. I do think they could overlap and kind of coincide, but it depends. Most people I find are not doing their purpose within their career. Most people are doing something that pays their bills, honestly. Then I would say the second tier of people are doing something that they possibly have interest in. And then the third tier of people, when they begin to align it and really discover what it is, because many people don't even know what it is. It's a common unanswered question, but although they're shameful about it, it's more common than we even know. So that's how I would say, but defining purpose, because you had several questions in there. Defining purpose, because I am the purpose influencer, I can break that into so many different ways, but the basis of purpose is your use. It's what use do you have? The base of that also can be the reason. What is the reason behind you existing? Another way it can go, and that's the final I'll share today, is your meaning. What is your meaning? And so those are questions that people deal with, like, wow, yeah, what is my meaning? And I find that when a lot of people don't know their purpose, they also may be struggling with self-worth. Not necessarily self-esteem, because I see a lot of ambitious people, but purposeless. They have purpose, but I'm saying purposeless in a sense of lack of discovery. They're ambitious. They feel good about themselves because they're doing great things. They're accomplishing some awesome things. But when you really dig deep, they don't really know what they're worth.
Right.
So they'll do some great things, but they may even go to some extremes that will not really be the best decision for themselves.
Right. I often find that when I'm in that space and talking to clients or just people in general, that they're lacking the fulfillment. They're not finding fulfillment in what they're doing. Like there's no joy. There's no I want to say inner drive and inner fulfillment. Because when I talk about purpose, I really talk about how, your passion is something that you love doing, something that gives you fulfillment. But when you align it with purpose, now you're impacting other people with the thing that you enjoy to do, right? And so I think sometimes people are missing that, like that connection. Like how am I being fulfilled out of this, and how is my gifting impacting other people so that I can, again, feel fulfilled in what I'm doing, right? So I love it. I love the concept. I love what you're doing. I know that you also have novice note speaker intensive.
Yes.
Did I say that correctly? Because I already told you my pronunciation. I already told you I'm not the greatest at that, but I refuse to muzzle my message. Tell us more about the program, and please pronounce it the proper way if I messed it up.
No, you're okay. Yes, so it's the Novice Note Speaker Intensive, but you did not mess it up. I'm just repeating it. And so It's a 6-week program. It's now transitioning to being half and half, a hybrid program. When I did the beta course, it was for a lot of people that lived locally to me. But as I began to travel to like Maryland and Pennsylvania, a lot of people wanted to take advantage of it. And something was like, hoo-hoo, Ciara, like they may not be able to travel as much, meeting up in person all of those times. So now we're converting it to more virtual and then having some live sessions towards the end. But it's definitely, we go through one chapter at a time that is in Don't Muzzle Your Message. So we start with each chapter and we discuss it, and it really pulls out who they impact. What is your message? Because a lot of speakers, and not just, because I don't even work with a traditional speaker. Like the Novice No Speaker Intensive is not for the traditional speaker. It's for that person who just knows, hey, my message is connected to my purpose and I have to do something with it. Now, speaking publicly is not just for the motivational speaker. It's any entrepreneur should really be able to articulate what it is that they do and share stories that connect with exactly what it is that they do so that they can connect with their audience. And so that's the type of person that they're just new. So novice, they're just new to the keynote fashion, but they want to, and they're breaking out of not being able to share their message. And so that's the person that will be best for the Novice No Speaker Intensive. And they're not ashamed to say that I'm new to this and that I had to break out of some things to get to this point to share my story to this extent. But that's pretty much it. It's been really good. They all speak at camp lunch every single year. So I give an opportunity for those who graduate from my Novice No Speaker Intensive to speak at my annual event camp lunch, which stands for Coach and Motivation Speaker Power Lunch. And so I'm like really excited about that. And when they speak, none of them speak with a manuscript in hand. And I'm very proud of that. Like none of them do. And that is challenging for most, especially starting out.
So when they're the novice in this program, do they have a story that they want to share and that's what they're speaking about, their particular story, or are they covering topics? Like how do they kind of, I just want to give like more clarity for anybody that might be interested in being part of your program.
Well, there's several layers to it. So first, when someone like kind of understands what the questions that are in the book, really, it kind of helps. But it's important to know who they're targeting, because some of them, they don't even realize they've ever even helped anybody. So one of the questions is, think about a time you've had a heart-to-heart with someone, or think about when someone has said the very thing you needed to hear. So we literally start there with realizing that, hey, I've impacted someone. Oh, wow, I can really, someone said what I needed to hear. I can be the person that says just what someone needs to hear. And so we do a lot of that first. And then later we do deal with figuring out what I call your passion topics, because I do believe that there should be at least 3 things that you are known for, as far as topics are concerned. One thing really that they know you for, like purpose is the biggest thing. But then you get what I'm saying? People know me, oh, she's the purpose influencer. So they know me, that's the overall umbrella. But then we break down into 3 passion topics or 3 passion categories that several topics fall under. I hope I'm not confusing. But I usually use a diagram with that, like on the whiteboard, and so they understand. So what we do first is we dump all the things you like to talk about, because when people begin to speak, they speak about everything. Everything that they like. So we start there. What do you want to talk about? Everything. Like one of my clients, I was like, I don't care. It's 50. She was like, it's 50 things. Write the 50 things. Don't think about it. Don't try to organize it. Just write it. And then we sit and we realize the commonalities between them. And then we end up with 3 passion categories. So that now when they're looking for speaking engagements, they're looking for those that fit within the 3. And as they begin to speak within that, they begin to be known for something. They make themselves an authority, because it burns me up in the inside when people try to squeeze themselves into opportunities. I tell my Novice No speakers all the time, do not squeeze, do not force yourself there. If it's not for you, if it's not the audience you need to speak to, you will be okay.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Can we talk? Staying staying in your lane is not necessarily a bad thing. Like I always say, like we're all created uniquely with individual gifts, and no one can do your gift the way that you do your gift, right? You don't have to jump over into this other person's gift, and you could even be in the, like we're in the same space, right?
Yeah.
So what you do and how you show up is completely different than what I do and how I show up, you know? So I let the purpose influencer have her, you know, her space and do it the way that she does it. And then Tisha Talks, you know, represents Tisha Talks, you know, how she does it. So I think that that is an excellent thing to stress or to teach to people, because it's not, you know, always known. And what can happen is you can really get discouraged, you know, when you're trying to show up or trying to squeeze, did you say squeeze into that space? Yeah, that is an excellent analogy, squeezing into a space. Like the space that is for you is for you. You know, I done went off in a tangent, but yes, I love
You're
that.
good.
I love that. And I love, yeah, I love what you said about how you break things down for your novice clients. And what I was hearing was helping people really identify that they have something to say, right? Because a lot of times people can't even identify like what they have to say. And so I love it because it also builds identity and confidence. So
Yes.
I would encourage people who are confused in that space, right? Like not really sure, to check out Ciara's novice program, because I love the way that you're setting all these things up. So tell us, you mentioned your annual camp lunch, and I know you talked about it a little bit, and I know you have one coming up. So do you want to share or talk a little bit about what's going on? I think this is your 4th year, right?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. So I'm excited. It's our 4th year. This year we decided to take it out of Jersey. We're going to be in Smithtown, New York. So I'm super excited about that. It's an outdoor event. I don't have it in like a corporate setting intentionally, because I want people to really just be able to relax and be themselves. The main 3 purposes of it is so that coaches and speakers primarily, and then purpose pursuers, they can come in and they can collaborate, recuperate, and motivate. So that's the main that we come. And so that's why it has to be comfortable. You're here to recuperate. You have to put on face. So you think, you know what I mean? Everywhere else, you have to put your best foot forward. Everywhere else, not to say you come in sloppy, you know, not that you totally just throw yourself away, but just really come to relax. So, you know, and then you don't always have to be the one in leadership. So even some of our speakers, they're speaking or they're coaching in that space, and then they can sit and be motivated and coached, you know. So it's a wonderful thing. And like a lot of people come from all over. This year really surprised me. We have people coming from Florida and the DMV area, and 2 people now this year from Atlanta, Georgia. Somebody returning from last year from Atlanta, Georgia, and they're just coming from all over just speaking, just to be there in that space. So I'm excited about that. This year the theme is use your voice. So it's going to be good, September 21st.
Okay, I love that. I think that's so necessary in the space, especially when you're pouring out so much. You're always pouring out to people, and you don't get a chance to unwind or be off, right? You always feel like you have to be on. And so I think that that is an excellent, excellent program or opportunity to provide for people to come and rejuvenate in that way. That is awesome. That is awesome. So I just have a couple more questions. Now tell us a little bit more about Providement. I know, is it like the umbrella for everything that you're doing, or is it more of a separate entity from these other things that you have going on?
Well, it's actually one of my businesses.
Oh.
So, yeah, so it's my coaching and consulting business. And then the second business that I have is an empowerment jewelry bar. And so really when I first started years ago, back in like 2015-ish, I would hide behind my business. So Providement's name would go first. Like I never really would step into personal branding or Ciara S. Miller or nobody. Like I would just like Providement, we're showing up, we're great, And so now, although I do operate in Providement, I do operate also in Purpose Poppers. Really, for me, I want to say I'm the umbrella. Ciara S. Miller is now the umbrella, and I'm not afraid to show up and to be in the face of everything that I stand for. Because then I know that God is also going to expand some things. He's working on some stuff right now, as far as ministry is concerned and things like that. And so I am definitely the top, and then it's going to veer off like that.
Cool. So tell us about, or tell me about about what you feel, if anything, that you have learned during this purpose journey. I guess from where you kind of started to where you are now. What are some, I guess, key takeaways that you developed during this time?
During this time, I would definitely say that I learned to practice authenticity. But before I could practice authenticity, I had to do a lot of awareness. I didn't really know myself deep enough, like knowing your favorite color, knowing your favorite soda, those type of things. When I was younger, of course, we would write it all down. What's your favorite movie? All of those things wasn't enough. I didn't know me enough. So I took a lot of time to really know me, to the point where if anyone's struggling with this authenticity side, because I talked about this at my book launch, like I had a hard time expressing myself in clothing. One, because I had not a lot of people, but people that meant a lot to me, critique how I dress. And so I found that I would just like kind of keep it simple. Like I remember I had like this scarf and like color long sleeve base going on. So I would get like a green, like long sleeve shirt and then like a beautiful scarf. And it's just like, okay, and some jeans. It's simple, it's cute. You can't say much about it,
Okay.
And I still have them. And I'm like, I think I want to get rid of these. Just because like, it was just me playing it safe, cute, but safe. And so I literally went on Pinterest and I did a board of, what do you like, Ciara? So I realized I like lace. And I realized I love puffy sleeves. And I realized that I like when there's like pearls on a shirt, just like randomly, or pearls in my pants. So I literally, what do you like? How do you want to show up? What kind of color lipstick do you like? And what kind of hair do you actually like? And I literally wrote it all out down to what kind of highlights and what kind of shoes. I wear heels, but only thick heels, because I'm not a stiletto girl, and I wasn't living with my mom my whole life, so I didn't have when most people have, let's walk around and play in heels. I didn't really have it. So I'm too grown to be stumbling and learning now, in my opinion. So I just stick to the thick heels, a nice cute wedge, a flat. And I had to literally, as thorough as I am with you now, I had to figure out what is it that I like and began to transform my closet from dark colors or just solids, because I was afraid and did not know quite how to express myself. And so that was important, because you have to know that's a part of authenticity, because I was dressing for others or dressing not to be critiqued, rather than dressing because this is how I want to share or speak about myself from afar. So I would say definitely that's really key. That's one of the biggest things for me: awareness, authenticity, which then will go into boldness, being bold enough to be who you are, and being transparent. So I think before you can be transparent, you have to execute and exercise boldness. So now I'm really like, this is who I am. I love who I am, and not that I won't grow or move. Because in marriage, especially, there's a lot of shaping that happens. But I definitely, that's what I would say, because we want to be authentic, or we think we are authentic, but you're not even aware of who you really are deep down. So
I absolutely love that, because I think that like a lot of people struggle with that. knowing who you are. Like, how are you going to show up if you don't know who you are? And not that you, and I completely 100% agree with what you're saying, not that you fully develop and you become this whole person, but you got to start out knowing, like, who is Ciara, you know, who is Letitia, so I can present that to you. And so I absolutely love that. I think that that is something that we all go through as we're developing purpose, right? As
Right.
we're understanding our purpose. And so that's awesome. I love that.
When you said, you were like, oh, I like that shirt. Like, this is a part of my discovery, okay? This, I like it. And this color, I love it, you know, but this was really a part of me coming out.
Yeah.
So I felt really like extra good when you said that, because I'm like, yes, I'm me, you know, not just a cute shirt, but you know, it's a process behind this.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I love, like, I want to stay on that topic, but I don't want to stay on it too long. But I think, I know that, like, a lot of people struggle with that. And I love what you said about taking time to really figure out who you are, like looking what you like, you know, what are your interests, what are your giftings, what is your passion? And it doesn't have to look like the next person. And
Right.
even being able to go past the rejection or the helpful information that other people may give you.
Right. Right.
About who you are, who you may be. So I absolutely love that. So before we end, can you give somebody watching advice about how to move forward? How to move forward in not muzzling your message, or how to move forward in self-discovery, how to move forward in this purpose journey? What advice would you give them?
The biggest advice I would give them is what one of my clients, she especially loves and thanks me for it all the time. I call it going on mind journeys. Just kind of like really letting your mind go, because through that I find a lot of revelation for my business. I learn a lot about myself. You can do this anywhere. You know, what I would tell people when they're first starting is to really just lay and like have a journal, or I use Google Keep. I tell my clients to use Google Keep. But just to literally just think, and kind of like, most people would call it meditation, although I don't personally believe in meditation too much, but I call it a mind journey, where you just like really just sit still, get to know who you are, think about what it is that you want. Through that, you can find purpose in pieces, because I believe that you're not just gonna, it's not all just gonna drop in your lap. It's a series of revelation and learning more. So, and that's exciting. I think that's why I call it a discovery. It's kind of like walking down a path and you see another flower each few steps that you know take, and you pick it up and you're like, oh, this is beautiful, you know. And so I tell people to be patient during that journey and pick up the flowers as you walk. But definitely do mind journeys. Through that, you'll find purpose. You can discover what your message is. You can figure out new strategies that will cause for you to win in business like never before. Because sometimes we know more than we think, especially if you're connected to God. Through those mind journeys, it allows you to hear from Him. You may think you're just in your head, and no, you're not. God is speaking. And so I do it quite often, and I live a lifestyle of mind journeys, but I also journal it, because it ends up being a lot. I get like a lot of revelations at once, and you want to journal it so you can execute it. So that's what I would say. Definitely start there, and I think that's why Don't Muzzle Your Message is great with the reflection questions, because it kind of teaches them how to do mind journeys indirectly. They don't know that's what they're doing, but that's starting the habit of that.
I love it. I love it. What I guess I would add to that is when you are going through that what did you call it? Mind journey?
Mind journeys.
Mind journeys. You know, the Bible says that God will give us exceedingly abundantly beyond what we could ask or think. And it's like so important that we're even thinking it. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I can imagine this grand thing for myself, like, what is my God imagining for me? Right? So you begin to open up the floodgates, you know? And so I absolutely love that. And I'm a journal girl too.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great tip, guys. Start mind journeying and journaling your
Yeah.
information, your dreams. Yes, I love it. I love it. So I know that you have the camp coming up. You said that was in September, right?
Yes.
Do you have any other speaking engagements or book signings or things coming up that you want to share with everyone?
So I'll share two. I'm a part of an anthology called God Doesn't Want You to Be Broke. The leading author of that is Sade Wayadu. And so you guys can find that. I have a chapter, I believe I'm chapter 19. Poverty is Not Your Purpose is the name of my chapter. So I'm excited about that. The next speaking engagement that I have is September 14th, right before Camp Lunch. It's going to be in Jersey City. You can follow the New Beginnings Brunch. It's new underscore beginnings underscore brunch on Instagram, and the conference is called Unlocked. So I'm excited
I
about
love
that.
it. I love
Yes,
it. Poverty is not your purpose.
perfect.
Yes, I love that. And unlock, unleash, let go,
Yes.
break through. I love it. I love it. So where can people find your book?
Yes, so I would say definitely follow me on Instagram at The Purpose Influencer, The Purpose Influencer, and the link is in my bio. You can also get it on Amazon, but I say personally get it from me, a special message, and I'll deliver it to you. So
Yeah.
that's where you get it.
Oh, so cool. I'm so excited, Ciara, about the things that you're doing. I love it. I love how you're allowing God to just move you, and you've stepped out of every box that anybody could put you in. You got your yellow shirt on. Yes. So I love it. And I look forward to seeing what God continues to do in your life and how you continue to show up and impact those around you. I'm so for it. I'm so for it. And I love it. Is there anything that you would like to end us with before we go?
Please don't forget to pursue purpose and unmuzzle your message.
Yes. So guys, you heard it from Ciara S. Miller, AKA the Purpose Influencer. I just want to remind you, I end every Tisha Talks with this phrase, when passion meets purpose, great things happen. Talk to you guys later.